Hello and welcome. I'm Maria Ressa. This is Talk Thursday. Today, the Catholic Church welcomes the election of Jorge Bergoglio from Argentina. He is the first Latin American Pope, the first Jesuit Pope as well. With us is Loyola House of Studies Rector, Father Joe Quilong Quilong. He is, well, first he took sociology, then he went on to take philosophy and a doctorate in theology. He spent 11 years at the Vatican. He'll talk about the challenges facing Pope Francis in a changing world. Thank you for joining us today, Father Joe.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you.
Tell us, why is this important?
Well, in the statement of Pope Benedict regarding the reasons why he resigned, he mentioned about advanced age and that to face the questions of today's fast-changing world, you need someone with a vigorous mind and body. And that's what he mentioned as the principal reason why he resigned as Pope. So in a way, this is the context of the election of the new Pope. He's expected to address questions of faith and other concerns facing the Church in a fast-changing time. So it's a good title, no? This talk, in a way,
yes,
somehow kind of connects with the reasons why Pope Benedict XVI resigned.
Do you know these two men?
Well, I was in Rome when Cardinal Ratzinger was elected, but when he was cardinal, you know, Cardinal Ratzinger, he was a very simple cardinal. He walks to his office, and twice I met him in St. Peter's Square.
Yes.
And you're just greeting him, and he responds. And he goes to ordinary restaurants. So he lived a very, very simple and ordinary life. And so in a way, that's my first impression of Ratzinger, no? When he was the head of the Congregation of the Faith. With Cardinal Bergoglio, I saw him only from a distance in
Right.
2001 because he was a member of the Synod of Bishops then.
Okay.
And Cardinal Tagle was, he was still Bishop of Imus.
Right.
That time, they were together in the commission, in the Synod.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay, so what's your impression of our new Pope, Pope Francis?
Well, first when the news about him, came out, I go, what, a Jesuit? It was a big surprise for me personally, and I'm sure of the many Jesuits, because we always kind of have this consciousness that a Jesuit could never be a pope. Because there was never a pope in the history of the Church, so
Right.
it's a first time. So first is really a big surprise,
Right.
that the cardinals elected someone who is a Jesuit. So in terms of his background, he was a novice master of the Jesuits in Argentina. So in
Right.
a way, his work was in formation. So we can say that we have a man who is a formator and who knows the challenges of formation. So, the novitiate is the initial stage of Jesuit formation.
Right.
He was also a professor. He was also rector of the Scholasticate.
Right.
So he had kind of extensive experience with the young in terms of formation. This was before he was made bishop in 1992 of Argentina, and then eventually he was made the archbishop later. No? I think it was in 1998. As Bishop of Argentina, again, reading his profile, I can kind of see three major characteristics of his personality and of his ministry.
Right.
First, pastoral service. As bishop, he was very much available. No? He was very compassionate to the divorced Catholics. He knew their problems and so on. So very, very pastoral bishop. So that's one. Secondly, solidarity with the poor. In practically in all his messages of these Latin American congresses, he spoke for the poor, and he even mentioned about the effects of globalization and how this marginalizes the sectors of society, especially the poor. And he has been very consistent in this message about the poor. And in fact, in terms of his lifestyle, he's known to live a very simple lifestyle. He refused to stay in the Archbishop's Palace in Argentina. He takes the public transportation, and
Right.
even one time, I think in one of the reports, he even cooks his own meals. So in a way, that's one way to connect with the ordinary people.
Right.
So in a way, this sense of solidarity, that he knows the conditions of the poor and the ordinary life. And then thirdly, very deep spirituality. And this was shown, during the first public
Yes.
appearance,
Yes.
when he asked the people to pray for Pope Benedict and also
Yes.
to pray for himself, for his ministry, and the gesture of bowing down, bowing down before the crowds and asking the crowds to bless him and to pray for him before he gives the final blessing. And he mentioned about journeying with them.
Right.
The people journeying with the Bishop of Rome and the Bishop of Rome journeying with the people.
Yes.
Again, that connects with solidarity and this deep spirituality.
Right. And Latin America, I mean, liberation theology grew out of Latin America to a degree,
Yes,
right?
yes, yeah. And in fact, he was a Jesuit provincial from 1973 to 1979.
Okay.
And this was the period of really intense changes in Argentina, in Latin America.
Right.
And he confronted problems there. Yes, but even as a leader, he was sure in terms of the priorities of being a Jesuit, of being a religious.
Yes.
And that's what he emphasized in his leadership, that we cannot kind of sacrifice the basics of Jesuit religious life and vocation.
Right.
So that's why he was known for a consistent thrust in terms of spiritual formation.
To those who aren't familiar, I mean, what will a Jesuit Pope, what will make it different? I mean, what do you expect?
Well, it's difficult to that question, because I mean, as I mentioned, there was never in history a
Right.
pope, a Jesuit pope.
But for a non-Catholic,
But,
for example, what characterizes the
Well,
Jesuits?
the reason why it's kind of unthinkable, because we Jesuits, it's part of our formation and spirituality not to aspire a position in the church, meaning
Right.
a high position in the church like a bishop.
Yes.
More so to become a pope. It's not in our training and consciousness and formation. Because of our special vow of obedience to the Pope, we consider ourselves more as servants. And we have this special vow, that we obey.
Yes.
We serve the church and we serve the Pope. So it's not in our consciousness that there should be a Jesuit there.
Right.
So in a way, part of the Jesuit, central to our Jesuit charism is the church, the service to the church. And the Pope has that, being a previous formator,
Right.
and so on, a Jesuit provincial. So he knows these values of our formation.